I was actually curious, like what you said your bass was your first instrument. Like, were you originally a bass player?
Yeah, so my buddy Ahmed, big up Papa Ahms, he took me to a Whalers show. It was at the 5 o'clock Friday at the Del Mar Fair. Not like in the
Nice.
grandstand, but like in the winner circle, like small stage.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed this show. And at the end, he's like, "Hey man, do you want to learn the bass guitar? Like, I got a bass, I could teach you." And so I was like, "Yeah, man, I'd love that." So he showed me some tabs, and the first song I ever learned was Zimbabwe,
Wow,
from the
nice.
Wailers. It's
Yeah,
just
freshly inspired.
such a heavy, heavy minor, conscious lyric song that's just like, yeah, spiritual and just amazing. And so yeah, we started a little band and we played in the backyard for some some people and we just had a good time like learning all the Bob Marley stuff, and we weren't
Nice.
very good, but obviously we were just playing whatever show we could in people's backyards. It's like that's how you start.
Yeah, like how old were you at this time? Were you always like into music?
No, like it's interesting. I was not into music for until my teens. Like, so this would have been, I was about 17, I think, when I
Wow.
first started playing the bass. And yeah, I mean, I did play clarinet, in grade
Nice.
school. I tried the alto, I think, in grade 5, but I couldn't figure it out. I quit like very early and I just gave
Yeah.
up on music until my buddy who took me to a reggae show and really
Wow.
inspired me.
Was that like your first experience with reggae or like
So no, I would say live, perhaps, but my mom was big into like Bob Marley Legend. She loved playing that album, and so that's where I got an early taste of Bob's music. It was like I have a vivid memory of driving down in a camper to San Felipe, the long few hour drive, just and my mom bumping Bob Marley, and she knew all the lyrics and stuff. So and she'd joke
nice?
around. She'd be like, "We be jamming, man," like. So I kind of like my first hint of it was from my mom.
Nice.
And then my buddy Ahmed, like taught me. And also there was this really cool dude from the Congo that we met him up. I used to live in Pacific Beach, and there's this little park called Kate Sessions, and it's a beautiful park. Just like you can see the whole bay, on a
Yeah.
hill. And he was just playing his tenor and just insanely great,
Yeah.
jazz player. And we kind of did a trade off. He showed me some like proper technique on the bass, how to really like, he's like, you got to do it round, you got to hit it hard and like with purpose and attack the notes and that kind of thing. And I let him use my little studio, which was this like 7 foot ceiling, maybe, if that. It was like a storage unit turned into a studio, and he's like, "I really like the acoustics in here, can I record my horn when you're working?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Wow.
sure, dude." So he gave me some bass lessons, and we followed him around. We always got watched him play. He's just such a cool guy. And yeah, so I did have these musical mentors, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm like self-taught on a lot of this stuff now, but like a lot of the early years and the inspiration were from people.
Yeah.
And obviously, like through Ahmed and his friends, I started to learn about like early root stuff, not just Bob, like Gregory Isaacs, the Mighty Diamonds, like all of the like Dennis Brown, like all of the great reggae that, you know, uh, is out there that people who aren't into reggae might not really know about.
Hmm.
The underground stuff that you and I, I'm sure, just enjoy and love.